Hello everyone, welcome to Desert Succulent, and for today pag-uusapan nga natin yung ating succulent soil mix. And we always keep on hearing na dapat well draining yung ating mix na gagamitin for our succulents, which is very true. Pero ano nga ba yung tamang ratio ng ating soil mix? Sa paggawa ng ating succulent soil mix, we have some key succulent soil factors that we have to consider. And yung soil natin should be made up of organic and mineral na components. And yun nga yung ating gagawin for today. And if we're gonna be providing the right ratio of organic to mineral material sa ating succulent soil mix, then it will support nga yung ating growth and it would prevent rot sa ating mga succulents. In front of us nga are different kinds of soil mix that I'm using for my succulents. So we have some organic materials here, and at the same time we have a mineral, which is our pumice stones, and we will be discussing them one by one later. Yung mineral content natin can range from 40% to 80% by volume, depending na yan sa variety natin or sa environmental conditions kung saan kayo located. If you've been following my vlogs, you have noticed na iba-iba yung soil mix na ginagamit ko. And unang-una nga dyan is we have this. Itong soil mix na to is usually yung ginagamit natin to grow nga yung ating mga succulents na binibenta natin. As you would see, nakalagay pa siya dito sa kanyang black nursery na pot, and habang tumatagal nagdidikit-dikit siya, which is a very bad na soil mix for our succulents kasi hindi sila well draining. Kaya we always advise nga na after buying your succulents from the garden shop na nakalagay pa sa kanilang original na nursery black na pot is that you have to remove this kasi hindi talaga siya well draining. Ayan. We also have this. Ito naman is yung ating loam soil. This one is already ready to use na nabibili sa mga garden shops. And this one contains yung ating cocoa peat, yung garden soil, some organic fertilizers, carbonized rice hull, and vermicompost. So, kumbaga, kompleto na siya. And this one is also gritty. If you're gonna be buying your loam soil, make sure na ganito yung kanyang itsura. Wala siyang halong clay soil kasi yung ibang mga loam soil na available sa market, they have this clay soil which is not appropriate for our succulents. You can always add some river sand dito. We don't need to use yung ating mga sand na galing sa dagat since they have this salt na content. And this one is the one I'm talking about, yung ating clay soil. And ganito ang itsura ng ating clay soil. As you can see, buong buo siya. Ayan, so even if we will be doing this one, ayan, diba, you would really see na talagang it will not provide a good aeration and drainage sa inyong succulents. So as much as possible, we have to avoid this kind of soil. So there are a lot of different kinds of mineral na available sa market, but this one is the one that I'm using. Ito yung ating pumice stones, and this one now will give you an excellent drainage sa inyong soil mix. In addition, dito kumakapit yung ating mga roots, so it's very important for us to add some minerals like these pumice stones. This one is our cocoa peat, and it's kinda confusing kasi if we're gonna be checking some details or information online, may nagsasabi na this one or our cocoa peat has a natural antifungal property, but some say na itong ating mga cocoa peat now would promote nga itong ating fungal infections, and this is something that we will be checking out in this experiment. Although I've been using itong ating cocoa peat and I've been mixing it in my soil mix, and wala naman ako naging problema sa aking mga succulents. So that is something that we are trying to prove in this kind of experiment. Ito naman yung ating soil mix that has vermicompost sa kanya. Yung vermicomposting kasi or worm composting, it is the process kung saan we turn our kitchen scraps or other green waste into this parang rich and dark soil. This one is not just rich in nutrients, but it's also loaded with microorganisms, and it creates and maintain nga a healthy soil sa ating mga succulents. So I always incorporate these vermicompost sa aking mga soil mix. Now we will be creating our succulent soil mix that I often use sa aking mga succulents. So for our garden soil and itong ating loam soil, we will not be mixing them anymore kasi ready to use na itong mga ito. And just to give you an example, these prolifica over here, ang ginamit natin dito is yung ating loam soil. I didn't add any pumice stones dito. And even if na malalim yung kanyang container, I didn't have any problem with our loam soil. And I often use itong ating mga loam soil for most of my succulents, including these Shavayana pink frills over here. Ayan siya. Ang ginamit ko rin dito is yung ating loam soil. And if you just wanted to give more aeration or drainage sa inyong succulent mix using your loam soil, you can just add itong ating pumice stone sa kanya. Yung ratio would now depend on you. You can have 50% loam soil or 50% itong ating pumice stones, or you can have like 70% itong loam soil or 30% itong ating pumice stones. So that's how you're gonna be mixing itong ating loam soil and pumice stones. I have here our dikya. As you can see, yung soil mix na ginamit natin dito is yung ating typical na garden soil. It's not that well draining, and we have to make sure na before watering them again, completely dry na nga yung kanilang pinaka-soil, so as to prevent nga yung ating overwatering ng ating mga succulents and cacti na din. So for our cat's claw, ang ginamit ko dito is a combination nga of our vermicompost and our pumice stones. Ang ratio naman na ginamit ko is parang 70% nito and 30% nito. And lastly, we have our example here na yung ating Sedum clavatum. As you can see, mas madami yung kanyang pumice stones as compared to this one. So here, this is a combination of these three, but it's like 80% nitong ating pumice stones, 10% of this vermicompost, and we have 10% ng ating cocoa peat. So it will now really depend on you kung gaano ka well draining yung inyong mga succulents, but these kind of soil mix ratio that I'm using are already proven, and I just keep on using them in all of my succulents. Right now, we will be mixing my soil mix na kadalasan ko ginagawa sa aking mga succulents. So for this garden soil and for our loam soil, we will be setting this aside since we won't be using them anymore. So we will just be using this, and this. For our soil mix, yung ratio natin, it's like 60% nitong ating vermicompost, and then 10% nitong ating cocoa peat, and 30% nitong ating pumice stone. So ganun yung gagawin nating soil mix. So bahala na kayo if you want to add more nitong ating pumice stones for better drainage. Ayan. So let's just put it here. Ayan. So ibig sabihin dalawang ganito ang kailangan natin. Dalawang ganito. And then just 10% nitong ating cocoa peat. So we'll just be using half of these. And 30% nitong ating pumice stones. This is how it would look like now. Ganyan yung itsura ng ating soil mix, and all we need to do is try to mix it all together. And after mixing, ganito na yung itsura ng ating soil mix. And this one is not just well draining, but it's also rich in nutrients because of our vermicompost na nilagay. If you wanted to add nga yung ating natural and organic na pesticide or fungicide, you can have yung ating neem oil na soil drench, and that is something that I will be making in a separate vlog. Ayan, so ganyan na yung kanyang itsura up close. Ayan. Now that we have created a succulent soil mix, we will be subjecting our purposorium in front of us into an experiment. So itong mga purposorium na to, magkakasing batch sila, and all of them were sunburned before, but as of the moment, we cannot really see na sunburned sila since they have already grown. And what we will be doing right now is we will be beheading all of them and put them in a different kind of soil mix. So let's try to behead them first one by one. front of us are 5 different pots and maglalagay nga tayo ng iba't ibang klase ng soil mix. So yung pinakauna, this one would now receive yung ating garden soil. This one will receive itong ating loam soil. This one is yung ating pure na cocoa peat, walang ibang halo. Ito naman yung ating vermicompost. And lastly, dito natin ilalagay yung ginawang soil mix. Yan. And finally, in front of us are our soil mix. So after 5 to 7 days of air drying this purposarium, we would be expecting that they would look like this. Ayan. So ganyan yung itsura niya once it's already completely callus over or nag-heal na siya. All we need to do is just put it here. Ganyan. Ayan, so let's assume na nag-air dry na siya. Ganyan. We will be subjecting these purposariums into our soil mix experiment and let's see after 2 weeks and after a month kung sino sa kanila ang already well-rooted. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You may also visit our Facebook page at Desert Succulent PH.